So, the E tool has officially released in Cold War multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. Today I will be trying to tell you my best and most helpful tips on how to do this specific challenge, which is get 3 kills with the combat knife without dying in 15 different matches. This isn't a very difficult challenge to do, but a lot of people will run into the same mistake, and that is do not back out of your games. Make sure that when you hop into a game and you get your challenge done, do not back out, because the progress will save, but once you reach the 15 matches completed, it will most likely reset or just not unlock the knife for you. So if you complete your 3 kills in one game, do make sure that you stick through it all, and I will be recommending specific maps, specific perks, specific strategies on how to make this as smooth as possible and as fast as possible. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. We just hit 14,000 subscribers, thank you all so much. Let's get up to 15,000 by next month. Probably not gonna happen, but you know, a man can dream. Also, be sure to drop a like on the video. Could we get 60 likes? That would be very much appreciated if we could actually hit that. You all have been smashing the like button recently. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So as I've already mentioned, the challenge is get 3 kills with the combat knife without dying in 15 different matches. So make sure you are actually using the combat knife, because that is the only weapon that you can unlock the E tool with. So if you perhaps have the machete, the sledgehammer, or the wakizashi sword, those will not count. It is specifically the combat knife. Now I'm going to go over quickly some of the perks that I recommend. I will recommend the tactical mask, the tracker, and lastly the ninja. All of these combined will actually help you out a lot in your game, because the ninja will let you be quiet and let you sneak up on your enemies much more easier and not be as loud as you would be all the time, where your character will be pointlessly talking. With tracker, you'll be able to see where the footsteps of the players are, which is a huge thing, because sometimes this can actually help you out. All of these 3 combined, it is a very good thing to run. Obviously, if you have your own better strategies, better perks, be sure to comment down below and maybe other people will use that instead. For the tacticals and lethals, I recommend the smoke grenade and the tomahawk. Now the reason I recommend the smoke grenade is because it actually helps out a lot. I usually recommend the flashbangs or stun grenades, but in this situation you're better off using the smoke grenade, and the combination of the tracker and the smokes, you will actually end up seeing the enemy's footsteps much easier and be able to sneak up on them far better than you would without the smoke grenades. And now let's get into some of these strategies and the maps you should definitely be doing this weapon challenge on, and that is Nuketown. Now I was going to recommend using just specific game modes, but you're better off doing this on Nuketown, even though it is randomly giving you different game modes. From what I found out, the best game mode to actually get this easily done is Hardpoint. So if you end up hopping into Hardpoint, be sure to try to get it done as fast as possible in that, so you can swap it to a normal weapon and get that challenge out of the way. Now the only disadvantage with Hardpoint, it is very long, so you won't be flying through each of the games. So if, for example, you are lucky in a normal team deathmatch, or even let's say kill confirmed, this will be also a very easy challenge to complete. What I found to be the most easiest to get the 3 kills without dying, which is basically like you were going for it bloodthirsty, is trying to be as concentrated on the game as possible. Some people will consider this to be a very obvious thing, but then there's others players that just need this helpful tip. What you need to do is, once you are, let's say, on 2 kills, definitely concentrate heavily on your minimap. Another thing that you could run around with is the field mic, which will actually help you out in noticing where the players are. It's basically like a mini version of the UAV, but it will be always on in a certain location, especially if you're playing on Hardpoint and you're in the Hardpoint itself. I found it extremely easy to put down the field mic and patiently wait as players, let's say in Nuketown, decide to go through the door, and I can easily knife them to get the 3rd kill. Now another thing you can do is obviously try to push the enemy's spawn and wait around until they come to you. This is a very scummy thing to do. It is basically camping or just patiently waiting for the players to kill them. But the thing is, if you're not very good at the game, if you're not a professional with melee weapons, and if you don't have the patience, this is the best thing to do. Now I did recommend having the tomahawk as your lethal. Now the thing with this is you won't have to use it all the time, and this won't count for the weapon challenge, so only use it in very needed times. Also for the score streaks, you're definitely better off having a UAV, counter UAV, and potentially a harp, but it's a very difficult thing to get up to. Even though if you play Hardpoint or let's say domination, kill confirmed, you will be building up those points if you collect the tags or the points that are in the game. But just remember, if you hop into a game and it is extremely sweaty and difficult, since skill-based matchmaking is a thing, make sure you back out of that game. Yes, I did at the beginning tell you not to do this, but I need to specify back out of the game if you don't have the weapon challenge complete. The reason I say this is because there's no need for you to spend ridiculous amount of time in a hardpoint game where it's extremely sweaty and your team isn't even helping you out in any way. So you're better off backing out and hopping into a different game and hope that you get the weapon challenge progression towards it, and you will be able to unlock the E tool much faster. Now I'm going to go back and talk about do not back out of your games if you have the 3 kills, but back out of the game if you don't have them and it's a very difficult lobby to play in. There's no point staying in there for too long. Now one thing I'll go over really quickly is if, for example, you are a Warzone player, there is a way you can unlock this, but it will be very difficult since it is basically a bloodthirsty with the knife only. Now don't worry if, for example, you get 1 kill with the knife, you can actually use your primary weapon. Same applies for Cold War, since it doesn't specify you only need to get combat knife kills that are like back to back like a bloodthirsty. This is just to get 3 kills in a game with the knife without dying. So for example, if you hop into a Warzone game, and I definitely recommend playing Plunder, do not try this in a normal game unless you are extremely ballsy and an actual pro. Definitely play Plunder, it'll be far more easier. A thing that I can recommend for you to do is actually wait in the plane until all the people get kicked out that are AFK. Now a lot of people will be doing this at the same time most likely, so be careful, try to be tactical and try not to die. But the thing I will be recommending for you to use in a class is actually for your primary weapon to be a riot shield. Again, you could choose to use any kind of weapon, whatever the strategy is whenever you play, since Warzone seems to have different weapons that are always differently powerful. For example, now it's the Bullfrog and FFAR. I don't know what it will be whenever you're watching this video, but if you don't want to use a primary weapon mainly, definitely opt out for the riot shield. It will be protecting your back. For the secondary, obviously the Bowie knife, and for the perks, I'm not 100% sure if these are the best, but for the first perk, Cold Blooded, second perk, Ghost, and the third perk, Shrapnel. For the lethal, I definitely recommend a throwing knife, similar to the way I recommended a Tomahawk in Cold War. And for the tactical, I actually recommend the Flashbang instead of the Smoke Grenade, since the map in Warzone is far bigger than Nuketown. You'll be better off finding enemies, hopefully by themselves, and be able to stun them. Remember, if you knock them, you actually need to finish them with the knife. So first you need to knock them with the knife and then finish them with the knife. It might actually count if you knock them, for example, with a riot shield or a primary weapon first, but just in case not to risk it, definitely finish them with the knife. And do not back out of the game, as I'm pretty sure in Warzone it is similar to the way Cold War works, where you will not be rewarded the progression for the secondary weapon. But if you own Cold War, definitely opt out for doing that, not Warzone, because Warzone is obviously a huge map, huge game, and it's far more difficult to find players. But if, for example, you are a Warzone player, I just decided to put this in here, just a little bit of a recommendation. If you have better perks, use better perks. I'm not 100% sure, as I don't play a lot of Warzone. This combination was pretty good when I tried it out in a game. And also remember not to back out and wait for the players to come out of the plane at first. Don't worry, you respawn with your weapon class in Plunder, which is why I recommend playing with that. But anyway guys, that's going to be it for the video. I hope I helped you out in some kind of way. I tried to tap into everything, and I will be doing guides on any upcoming future weapons, as I feel like there are people that obviously will struggle with this. I even sometimes struggle with it myself, so I try to do a lot of research before I make these videos, because then I am able to give you the best methods and best things that I found out. So if you're ever going to be looking forward to any more of the weapons that are coming out soon and gonna need any guides on them, be sure to subscribe. It would be very much appreciated if you could, and also be sure to drop a like on this video. But without further ado guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.